Montessori did for them. And they all are very different people. They do really different things. But they all still love learning. They're still really turned on by stuff. And they're excited to tell me about the new things that they've discovered or the things that they want to research further, where they want to go. And that is what makes life a good life, a participatory life, where you're in it and enjoying it and growing. And this is what the Montessori Elementary builds for children. The other thing that they all have in common is that they want to make a difference. They want to make a difference in the world. And that's something that I think comes very much from beginning to examine these unanswerable questions. Who am I? Where did I come from? Why am I here? But to begin to examine those questions, again, at this early age. Montessori felt this was a very sensitive time for beginning to pursue those questions. And because those are put to them along the framework of how all life happened, how everything that is occurred, how they can see, in a sense, what makes up their bodies is part of what was there in that first Big Bang. That makes them really feel that they're all related to everything. And they have a job here. They have a cosmic purpose. They have a duty towards humanity. They have a duty towards the earth. And they have a duty towards the universe. And so, even though in Montessori we don't do moral education in the sense of preaching to them, they have the opportunity to discover how moral behavior has the repercussions in the larger pool, first of their classroom and then of the larger community. There are so many Montessori young adults who are working on wonderful projects to try to help make the world a better place. And from my perspective, I couldn't want anything more to pass on than that kind of a perspective about being responsible for the world. I think that really the key to what's going on with the children at this age is that they are being respected for who they are. They are being expected to take more and more responsibility for themselves and for their school community and then for their larger community. And that kind of an attitude towards children really helps them grow into who they are going to become. So that's about all I wanted to say personally to you, but my main purpose here was to be here to answer questions. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of my understanding of Montessori's perspective, of her philosophy, and then see what's on your minds. Yes?
How do Montessori, kids coming out of Montessori Elementary experience adapt when they get into a more traditional middle school and high school situation?
Okay, that's a very good question. And again, we have some research that it's in Montessori, the Science Behind the Genius. It's basically the expansion of somebody's dissertation. So there is some actual real data. One of the problems with Montessorians is we're all practitioners, and there aren't a lot of us that are standing back and doing the science that we need to give you a better answer to that. But from my experience, the older a child is when they leave the Montessori system, the easier the adaptation is. Generally, by the time kids get to middle school is a lousy time for everybody. Anyway, unless you're going to the Montessori Kinder, in which case it's developmentally appropriate for you. But junior highs are just not developmentally appropriate for anybody, and I don't know if they ever have been. But generally, by the time you get to junior high and high school, there's a lot more flexibility in class schedules and what kids take and that kind of thing. So they are more able to tailor things, the things that they have to spend their time doing. They're able to pick and choose more things that are appealing to them. So it's much easier at a junior high and high school level. My kids went to Montessori until 6th grade for you, 5th grade for you. Yeah. And my son through until junior high. And really the major complaint that they had was they just wondered when they were going to learn something. But as far as, again, because of knowing that you're responsible to your community, and you've learned the grace and courtesy that you need in order to speak well with other people, they usually are really able to negotiate, to navigate in a way that's articulate and respectful, so that they get, reasonable response from the other adults. The other thing that they miss is they really miss the respect. Because in a Montessori environment, I think one of the things that, whether you're working with an infant or with the children in the Kinder, the adult has a huge respect for the person in the process of becoming. And just a huge desire to support that entity. And kids know that. And when they're in an environment where they don't feel that energy coming from the adults that are supposed to be there to guide them, they miss it. So generally they do fine. The hardest time for kids to leave a Montessori environment is the kindergarten year. Kids that leave Montessori at the kindergarten year and go into kindergarten instead of completing the cycle of the 3 to 6, those are the kids that have it toughest, because they know so much more than most of the kids, but they're still in the developmental phase where they need to learn by doing, and they need to move, and they're all being asked to sit and color the circle red. And it's just, that's real tough for Montessori kids. So that's probably the worst time for a child to move. Generally, if you stay with the 3-year cycles, whether, the 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, the transition is not really that difficult. But what you hope is that the schools just keep going, so you've got your Kinder. I mean, that's I mean, to see a child who's been fully supported developmentally in their education from birth to age 24, that would be a wondrous thing, I think. I'd love to see that in my lifetime. So.
To what extent has the Montessori philosophy evolved from the time Montessori developed the idea?
Well, I guess you'd have to